Hello, I'm Kelly from Myofascial and Sports Therapy. Today we're going to go through some home care exercises for the back of the shoulder, the front of the shoulder, and these can be particularly useful, especially when we're spending a lot of time working from home, or it could be that you're sitting on a bike for a long time. So for any reason, if you have sore shoulders, you can do these exercises. The things that we'll need today, I'm using a block, but you can use a small pillow or cushion, a spiky ball and a lacrosse ball. If you don't have these, start with a tennis ball if that's the only thing you've got at home. That's totally fine. So first of all, I'm going to show you where we're going to work for the back of the shoulder on my friend Billy. Okay, so this is Billy, as in Billy Bones. Now, when we're down on the floor, this is the area that we're going to be working. So these spinal muscles here, the rhomboid muscles coming up here. With our spiky ball, they will be on the muscles only. They're not to go, we're avoiding the spine and avoiding the scapula. So you can use this from the base to the tip of the scapula here. So that's the area that we're going to be working. So we're going to come down onto the floor. I use the spiky ball, but you might like to start with a tennis ball if that's what you've got. So I'm going to shuffle down, bending my knees. I'm going to put that block under my head. And if you've got obviously any shoulder injuries, you're not going to go through this exercise. The ball is going to come underneath between the spine and the scapula, your shoulder blade. Relax down over the top of it, possibly easier said than done. And we're going to go through some range. So just moving the arm until it feels like it can't go or it's stopping. Okay, wherever that restriction is, you might hold it for a second or two and come back. So you can slowly keep moving through that. Okay. You might put slight little angles. If you find that you're not feeling that there's a lot of change, if the muscles are quite tight, something that you could start with is pointing the fingers to the roof and pushing directly down on top of the ball. So you might feel a few little clicks and clunks as we start to get into those muscles, particularly coming onto the edge of that shoulder blade or scapula. The other thing that we can do is bend the elbow and come across the body and open back out. And that again might tuck underneath. So you might need to try all the different ways of using the ball this way and see which one works best for you. Okay, obviously you are going to go into the other side, but what I will move into now is working in through the pec so that we've done the back of the shoulder. Then we can come into the front. So you can use a lacrosse ball, you can use your fingers, that's totally fine. So have a palpate around through that pec area. See if you've got some nice tight spots. You might just use your fingers. Alternatively, you can use the ball if you want a broader application. Then you may hold the ball and open that arm out nice and slowly. So we get a bit of stretch. We're pinning the muscle and stretching out for that pec area. So this whole pec region. So move it around. And you might change the angle of that arm as well. So you might switch between a little bit of cross fibre and a little bit of movement. So again, doing those both sides. Now we'll move into a stretch for the upper trapezius. So one of the muscles that's all involved in this area. So you can take a seat, you can do this sitting on a chair or on the ground. We're going to drop that left arm down and taking that right ear towards the right shoulder. So we're looking for a stretch through that left upper trapezius muscle. If you need more of a stretch, you can use your hand for a slight bit of overpressure. So the reason that we push this left arm down is so that it doesn't raise up and we tip the whole body. So you're dropping that arm down, applying a little bit of pressure. So you may feel this stretch from the corner of the shoulder up to the base of the skull. And coming back to neutral. You can have a little rest in between and then going back into that stretch. So again, we're only going to the very first point of stretch. So sometimes people will feel this more at those suboccipital muscles at the base of the skull. And sometimes you might get headaches in that area. And coming back up. Have a little bit of movement. And then again, the third time, just taking that right ear to the shoulder, applying pressure, making sure that you're keeping that left arm down. And coming back up to neutral. So you can work on 3 of those, holding for 20 to 30 seconds. I'll just add in one more. So for the levator scapulae, so the muscle from the corner of the scapula up to the side of the neck. So for this one, we're going to turn our head to the right hand side and look down towards your armpit. And you can apply some overpressure again if you need. So again, making sure that left arm is pushing down. We might push your hands towards the floor. And coming back up. And again, looking over that shoulder down towards your armpit. And just applying some pressure if you need. You may not need to use your hand at all. So these muscles work together. And coming back up. So that's the upper trapezius and the levator scapulae, so these shoulder muscles through here. And for the last time, and so when we're sitting at the desk a lot, they can get quite tight. When we get stressed, we tend to go into locking up through here and those shoulders start to raise. So this will just help to get some more length through these muscles. So again, making sure you do all of these exercises on both sides. If you do have any neck or shoulder issues, then you might want to check with your health practitioner before using these exercises. Thank you very much for joining us today.